The Avengers movie is easily one of my favorite films of all time. It delivered an emotional satisfaction that was kind of close to an intellectual orgasm. I mean, the comic books were stunning, and for decades, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the movies just fell short. And then they started getting better. And then they got good. Spider-Man, Iron Man. After a lot of different movies came out, the Avengers came out. So we are going to find out some Avengers movie weird on today's episode of 5 Weird Things. Welcome to the channel. One of the bigger achievements of the Avengers movie was that they took all of these incredibly powerful characters. Each one literally had their own movie, but it put them all together and gave each one of them their own little chance to shine. Now, what was your favorite moment of the movie? Let me know down in the comments. All right, let's get into it. First, the things we should all know, and I'm going to take this from a website that just gave a brief description of the movie, so it's going to be short. The Avengers is a 2012 Marvel superhero movie about Earth's mightiest heroes coming together to stop Loki and his alien army from enslaving humanity. Weird thing number 5. It was every bit as successful as they hoped. The Avengers was released on May 4th, 2012. It was a massive box office success, grossing over $1.5 billion with a B worldwide. This made it the third highest grossing film at the time. The movie was directed by Joss Whedon, who is known for his work on TV series like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Firefly. Whedon both directed and co-wrote the screenplay for The Avengers. Now, the film features an ensemble cast, including Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Chris Evans as Captain America, Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk, Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Scarlett Johansson as the Black Widow, and Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye. Now, Samuel L. Jackson also stars as Nick Fury, and Tom Hiddleston plays the main antagonist, Loki. The Avengers is notable for being the first film to bring together characters from different Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, films. It was a major crossover event combining the storylines and characters from Iron Man, the Incredible Hulk, Thor, Captain America, the First Avenger. The film received widespread critical acclaim for its direction, screenplay, visual effects, action sequences, and performances, particularly those of Robert Downey Jr. and Hiddleston. It was praised for its ability to balance a large ensemble cast while maintaining a cohesive and very entertaining story. Weird thing number 4. There was an alternative opening. The alternative opening was shot from the perspective of Maria Hill, played by Kobe Smulders. It focused on her recounting the events of the Battle of New York, providing a darker and more somber tone as she questioned Nick Fury's decisions. The scene depicted the aftermath of the alien invasion, showing the destruction and chaos in New York City. It emphasized the civilian casualties and the widespread devastation caused by the battle. In the alternative opening, Maria Hill is seen being interrogated by the World Security Council about the events that transpired and Nick Fury's handling of it. This added a layer of political intrigue and accountability. Now, the alternative opening served as a framing device for the rest of the film, with the story unfolding through a series of flashbacks. This narrative structure was ultimately abandoned in favor of a more straightforward chronological progression. Now, the scene was cut because it was deemed too dark and slow for the film's opening. The filmmakers decided to start the movie with a more immediate action, focusing on Loki's arrival on Earth to set a faster pace and more engaging tone from the very beginning. Weird thing number 3. Improvised lines. During the scene where the Avengers are discussing Loki, Thor, played by Chris Hemsworth, defends his brother saying, "He's my brother." Now, Tony Stark, originally played by Robert Downey Jr., quickly retorted, "He's killed 80 people in 2 days," and Hemsworth then responds, "He's adopted," a line that was improvised by Downey Jr., and it was kept in the film because it was very humorous and it fit the scene, but ultimately they gave the line to the Black Widow. Now, when Agent Coulson, Clark Gregg, is showing Captain America, Chris Evans, his vintage trading cards, Coulson mentions that he had to have them sent over to get them signed. The idea was that Coulson would be a fanboy of Captain America and carry around trading cards was a concept that was developed further through improvised dialogue. The entire shawarma post-credits scene was added as an afterthought and shot after the film had wrapped. Robert Downey Jr. suggested the idea of the Avengers going out for shawarma after the battle, which led to the filming of the now famous scene where the exhausted team silently eats shawarma together. Now, you notice that Captain America is covering his face, and that's because he had begun shooting another film and had a beard that he didn't have in the Battle of New York, so he had to hide it. When Thor and Loki are on the Quinjet and Thor, Chris Hemsworth, places his hammer, Mjolnir, on a coat hook, this action was not in the script. Hemsworth's decision to place the hammer there added such a subtle touch of humor to the scene that really helped. Weird thing number 2. Robert Downey Jr. likes to snack a lot during filming. Robert Downey Jr. hid food on the set and would randomly pull out snacks during scenes. His offer to share his blueberries with other characters was improvised, adding a casual and humorous element to the interaction. Now, he used to hide quite a large quantity of snacks around the set, and the cast just went with it. When shooting was done for the day, they would collect up the unopened food and they would donate it to a local shelter. Joss Whedon, the director of the Avengers, decided to keep many of these unscripted moments in the final cut of the film. Whedon appreciated the authenticity and humor that Downey Jr.'s improvisations brought to the Tony Stark character. The rest of the cast and crew were often unaware of where Downey Jr. had hidden his snacks, and their reaction to his sudden food appearances were genuine, adding to the natural chemistry and interaction between the characters on screen. And finally, weird thing number 1. The original script. Zach Penn, who had previously written for Marvel Films, crafted the initial draft of the Avengers. His draft laid the groundwork for the film's plot and structure, but it underwent significant changes once Joss Whedon came on board as director and co-writer. Early drafts included both Ant-Man and Wasp, who were 2 founding members of the Avengers in the comic books. Their characters were removed from the script due to the complexities of introducing too many new characters at once, and to avoid overshadowing the core team that had already been introduced in the previous Marvel films. Zach Penn's script was darker and grittier compared to the final version. Joss Whedon lightened the tone by incorporating more humor and character-driven interactions, which contributed to the film's broader appeal and critical success. Now, initially, Hawkeye had a more significant role in the original script, with more backstory and character development. However, due to the need to focus on the main plot and the ensemble cast, some of his scenes were trimmed. In the original draft, Loki's plan and motivations were much less defined. Whedon's rewrites clarified Loki's ambitions and provided a more coherent and menacing plan, making him a more formidable antagonist for the Avengers. Well, that's it for today's episode. Hope it made you smile like I did. Please like and subscribe. Click on the links above to see more weird. And today's code word is Avengers Initiative. Put that down in the comments to show support for the Avengers and, well, me. Take care. Have a great day.